Oi, Kevin. My Brighton, Sofa King. Igor, Ebony, how are you, everybody? Jose, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, brother? Thanks for the hot cocoa, baby. Ooh. Thanks, baby. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Simulation Talk 169. Can you get another ice cream over there? Thank you for the likes. Ebony, how are you? Sofa King, Owl. Thanks, babe. 69, nice. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. Sofa King of Sofas is here. Bow down, you peasants. That's fine. Nico, all the heavy hitters are in today. And Ben appears. How you doing, brother? Adding that to the team. Okay, I think we can kind of start. Feels like so I don't want people. Simulation Dog 169. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for the roses, Nico. I appreciate you, brother. If you're a newcomer, which at this point I think I kind of doubt anybody here is a newcomer, but if you are, this is Simulation Talk, the channel that mostly revolves around the simulation hypothesis. My name is Danny, and I'm claiming to have found proof that we live in a simulation. We meet here almost every single day to discuss the implications of the finding that I'm claiming to have found, as well as science in general, religion, spirituality, philosophy, God, whatever we feel like, we talk about. 169 is worth celebrating. Why? Oh, because it's 69. Nice. I agree. I feel like 69 is overrated, honestly. It is a bit overrated. I think hold on, now it needs more hot water. Can't make a decision. No, it's too much ice. Hot water is fine. This was hot water, right? Okay. I didn't just put regular water. No, for real. I feel like 69 is just one of these things that sounds really good on paper. And then, I mean, it can be fun, but no, not tap water. It's basically hot chocolate. And I can't decide if I didn't want it too hot. So I put an ice cube and then put another ice cube. And then the ice cube, the second one made it too cold. So now I had to go and put back more hot water. Now it kind of tastes like tap water. So you're not that far off. Classic, exactly. Now I need what? Wait, what is this? No, I need an ice cube. No. This is where we're at room temperature and also at no, like the perfect temperature, but also now it is it does taste like water more than hot chocolate. So there's that. Like hot tub or beach sex. Great concept, but in reality, Oh, like hot tub or exactly. Beach sex. Let me tell you, it is one of the most uncomfortable things you can possibly imagine. I don't know if you ever tried it, but just don't. It's a complete waste of time. 622. What is 622? Is that a new position that nobody familiar with? It's like an old Dane Cook joke, like a bionic seahorse position or something. Send is not your friend. Exactly. I can't remember why 622, but it's my choice. Well, we have quite a few episodes before 622. I don't have any ideological view. Matthew, is that you? I haven't seen you in a while. Hello, first of all. I think holding one, here's my ideological position. Holding one ideological position as it applies for everything is silly. That will be my ideological position. No, I just well, first of all, I am special. My mom used to tell me that, so it must be true. Second of all, an ideological position is an idealized world scenario position. By definition, it is an idea. If you don't map it onto something that is functional, that's not a wise thing to do. Ideologically, you want to position yourself in relationship to what is possible, what is actionable, what is relevant to the time, and your ideological position can change even the same day, depending on what we're talking about. This is why I find ideological positions kind of pointless. Brian said I'm special too, but my school told me, not my mom. There you go. I think they're sometimes the same. I'm special. What's up, Brian? What's your ideological position? Call myself pragmatic? No, just somebody who understands that there's no ideological position that maps onto every possible thing that you might. Ideological position is only relevant to what you will do in accordance to it. Correct or no? So to lock yourself in relationship to all possible possibilities before they arise seems silly, no? Killing Time became a member. Welcome. Drum roll. This is my drum roll. See, I'm special. Bacon. Is this PC? It's not PC. Am I canceled? I think I'm canceled. There you go. So we agree, Matthew. I don't even know what an ideological position is. I think I kind of don't either. That's my ideological position. Boom. Love OB, that's where my heart is. But all beach areas have changed for the worst. Wait, hold on. What's OB? I'm canceled. Everybody backing up. Nice. Good night, everyone. One of the places in San Diego. Frequent any current San Diego locals. Oh, got it. North County. Wait, what is North County? Is that a county in San Diego? How do you think societies come about ideology? Is it inherent or is it manufactured? I think it depends on the society. I think most things are just kind of like naturally arising, just like languages, and then certain people in positions that can allow them that are always trying to steer things in a particular direction. That is true as well. So it's a mixture of these two. Thank you so much for the gift, Jessalee the Annie. Appreciate you. Oh, Ocean Beach. That's what it sounds like. Made up movie town. Exactly. Delano saying cool. Oh, by the way, killing time. Please send me an email. Which tier did you sign up to? So you don't have to tell us here, but you can go to my email. Well, it's everything. Now that you remember, you can see the message and it tells you where to email, what to email. Make sure you send me that email with the fact starts with the words new member, so it will categorize it, and then put the membership level, the handle, and YouTube. Excuse me, and the full name. That way, I can put you in the right list to send you all the stuff that is relevant. Why do you ask, Matthew? Why is this of special interest to you? That's interesting to me. Seeking new people to help develop 2.3 acres I got near Palomar, MT. Nice. Define develop. Do you need builders? Whoever was in the background, her bun is on point and I love it. That was my fiance, so all the power to you. Rinth Faye from Twitch. I'm always happy to have people on Twitch because I don't have a lot of followers on Twitch. So, woohoo! No, Matthew, real question. Why does that pull your interest in a special way? This topic. Member Zoom meeting, blah, blah, blah. New members and subject level membership with your YouTube name. Thank you so much, Ebony. As always, you're a blessing. Her hair is gorgeous. I agree. She's also gorgeous. Is she behind me? Today was a crazy day for me. I don't know about y'all, but the universe was slapping me in the face with synchronicities all day. It was very high energy today for sure. What's up, Dimitri? How are you? All week. Trying to laser this weekend. I hope I'm not one of those who can't see the code. Got a pretty serious magnet as well. Can't wait to hear about it. Babe, the chat said your hair is on your ponytail is on point and your hair is gorgeous. There you go. All week for me too. Yeah, it was intense energy today as well. Because I'm curious where your idea is coming from. No person's background is quite important. I see. Too high comes about his unique thinking. Wait, too high comes about his unique thinking. I don't know what this sentence meant. I would love to understand. Too high comes about his unique thinking. Maybe I'm just too stupid, which is most likely what it is. If you can explain that sentence, though. I'm curious where your ideas. So my ideas come from life experience, I would say, mostly. Have you ever experienced a spiritual emergency? I think you would have to define spiritual emergency for me, Danny. Cool name, by the way. Life is about to get crazy, but in a good way. I think it's already kind of crazy in a good way. What are my thoughts on luge? Is that like luge, but when you end up in a pile of snow? Oh yeah, I don't subscribe to any of these ideas. All the traps, all the prisons, that's not the universe I'm in. And if we are in the business of creating our own realities, then I'm happy I'm not in that universe. Are you in that universe? Gang. Wait. Oh, it's got dang. I thought it'd be gang gang. Developing an outdoor space for events and classes and camping and just living off grid. Sounds lovely. So if anybody here in the chat wants to join and help Delano develop the land, reach out. That sounds like an incredible opportunity. Cut off from practically the whole physical world for 10 days and both is both exciting and scary. Oh, you're going for the Vipassana. That's amazing. The way I'm seeing this transformation, wait, if we suddenly unlocked everything at once, our minds wouldn't handle it. It's happening at the perfect pace. Yes. The process happens gradually because your consciousness needs time to adjust. Correct. I just did 7-day in the woods. It's amazing the difference. Wow. And that sounds pretty incredible. Did I see you in a Vipassana video documentary? I don't think I was ever in a documentary, but I'm a Vipassana practitioner. Your reaction to new information tells me that you're ideologically liberal, yet I see conservatism. Yeah, I see conservative tendencies and explanations in some of your thinking. Very perplexing and quite interesting. I'm curious the background to that. So the background is just being in the moment. I have a pretty, I guess, kind of dry delivery of these things because I think that ultimately they don't really matter that much. But this is why I feel like slapping a word on it is not helpful because it prevents people from understanding what it really is. I agree with you that some people just kind of, they are their ideologies, but I'm definitely not. I am here in the moment listening to what you have to say. Depending on my mood, I might be a little bit more abrupt, less patient, or more caring and more compassionate, depending on how much I slept, how much I ate, what is my general state, just like for all humans. And I try not to hide these things because ultimately it makes us feel weird if we put it inside too much. So that's where I'm coming from. There's certain, in the famous words of Chris Rock, sometimes I'm liberal, sometimes I'm conservative. I think the joke goes that, what is it? On DRUG, I'm conservative. I can't say that word here either. Wow, TikTok really ruins jokes. But yeah, I don't even know how to write. It's too long of a word to spell. Let's see if they're gonna cancel us for this. Prostitution, I'm liberal, which is funny because he's a guy. But it's true. I mean, you want to first see what the problem is, right? What is the position? What are we talking about, and when? 10 years ago, there was enough actual liberals on the left, which means just people who believe that you should be able to just live and let live, just do what you're going to do and don't bother anybody else, right? To the extent that you can, even though you live in society. So you had enough of that on the left. And that was okay. Then the left is kind of serving its purpose, right? Because the left is known to be that, and then the right is more conservative in the sense that they want more fiscal responsibility, all these things that sound super boring and not interesting and just talking points. And then now it seems that most people on the left are not really liberal, or a lot of people, they're just very impatient with other people's opinions. Everybody who disagrees with them is an NAZI. That's kind of a weird position. That's definitely not liberal. So I don't know what that is, but it's not. And it's like Bill Maher said, like, I didn't change. It's that the political party changed. So now I don't really align myself at this point with any political party because this thing is just a zoo. It's just craziness, right? So I care about what is happening and who can help address these things that are happening. That's all I care about. Also, the older you get, the more you start to kind of understand, the more, I guess, what you would call conservative positions, simply because you lived long enough to know that there's enough things in the world that you would really love to see. If we can find out a system. Let me finish the first sentence. There's enough things in the world that in a perfect world you would love to see, and I think most people would love to see. But when you get older, you understand that you try enough things in life and you see how difficult it is to actually make things happen versus just talk about it. And then you start understanding, oh, there's a reality to the situation. I see what they mean now. I see. So like maybe I want, just resolve the homeless situation. I would love that, right? To find a solution that basically just gives everybody housing, and by the way, I'm very positive that we'll be able to solve it hopefully soon. But so far, every time we tried, all the corruption in the system, whatever it is that you want to throw at it as the reason, I mean, there is some reason, right? We're failing because in the moment, there's no infinite money. So you have to take certain funds and you have to allocate them in a certain place, and you have to try and make this thing happen. If you put too much money here, then this thing suffers. And then you say, well, why you don't care about this? We're like, no, but you kind of understand there's like this pie, and the pie has to be divided somehow, and somebody has to make these divisions. It's not that simple, right? And I guess that's the more of the conservative talking points, which is like, well, we would also love to live in a beautiful world, but there's the reality to the situation. You have to be realistic about it. Now, there's obviously it's a super oversimplified analysis, because there's also the crazy fanatics on the right and the crazy fanatics on the left, which makes the situation more complicated, because now there's actually some people that actually don't care about others. They're like, no, I'm just, they think that they arrived at what they arrived by themselves, which of course is not true. Like very wealthy people that usually were born wealthy, and they just think, oh, well, we were, financially responsible, so why do we need to? Well, no, you live in a system that kind of tends to you, right? So it's a very messy whole thing. So where I stand, it's very simple. I guess that would be my ideological position. If you ask me about something that I can do nothing about right now, like I'm, and by the way, I mean like either I know that I won't, because it's just not something that I'm driven by, or I can't engage with it emotionally, because I just don't have enough. There's only so many hours in the day, and I have only so much energy in the day. So I have to just go, okay, I don't know what to do with that. So I would just remove myself from the picture, and then I don't really care that much. Not in the sense like I don't care what happens. It's just I can't. There's not enough energy in me to do so. And the things that I can do something about, I would offer a potential way forward, which is a very small, sliver or something, because most people can't do most things about these big things. But if I can offer something that I think makes sense, I would. And I would encourage anybody who's rah-rahing around an ideological position to put their legs and money where their mouth is. Go and do something about it. Otherwise, you just running your mouth. So that's my ideological position. Be realistic, because I deeply care about the world and about people. But I'm one person, so there's only so much we can actually give of ourselves before the invisible cause eats you alive. You know what I mean? And at a certain age, you just kind of learn that there's a difference between making a difference and making noise. And making that distinction is very important, I think. Okay, let me see. Oh, there's a lot of comments. Random question: what is one thing from any fictional universe, from any form of media, that you wished could be in this world, whether that's a political system, an environment, or abilities? I don't know what you meant by or from any form of media, but I think I understand the thrust behind the question. I think a civilization that perfectly combine its technological sophistication with its spiritual growth. So a civilization that expands into the universe forever, creates beautiful technologies that are all inspired by the divine. So kind of like a transcendent civilization. To become that, that's what I would love to see. Well, wait, first of all, there's no way you didn't get an email owl that at least told you that you were not accepted. When is the retreat supposed to happen? On the 20th? You were on a waiting list, right? If you're on a waiting list, they might send you an email up to a week before, maybe even after that. But they will definitely notify you. And you actually can't sign up until that one already started. Took a picture and said to your email, took a bit, we get a response, but not forever. Talking about my email, I now have a little bit more time to answer emails. So if it's going to be sent anytime in the next few days, I will definitely respond to it pretty quickly. What did you think of that AI analysis of my code drawing that Max shared on the Discord? I don't have one because it's I know that these are approximations. That's the problem with even going about it that way. That's why I keep expressing that. I think I responded there though. Was that I thought he was basically talking about his own experience. Maybe I misunderstood, or are you talking about a different response, Ebony? But the problem is that you either have the exact symbols or it doesn't matter. So like if you're gonna give it like even kind of like a close symbolic representation, it's not enough. It has to be exactly that. Otherwise, to me, it seems like a kind of a waste of time. And so when I listen to you and follow you, know, very similar to worldview. Oh, awesome! I'm glad you align. Just now read your comment. There's no way that an insider can have this insight. I'm certain you come from the outside bubble, from another system worldview similar to I. You mean like outside of America? Is that what you mean? I think we all need to be the change we want to see in the world, correct? And not fall for all the divide. True. I would agree with that. Yeah, I think having life's experience from other countries for sure helps. But I think you can have. You just need to think about it for a second. But again, some things just come with age. It's just like I was very ideological when I was a kid. All kids, that's a natural thing. All kids think, "Oh, why don't you just do that? Just do it. Just change the world. Just do it." They don't realize that somebody has to go to work in the morning and make these decisions for that to happen. That's the reality of things. Try and test it. RVing myself can attest it is double and real. Most people can do it. Though being able to meditate helps. Are you talking about the code, Ebony? Perfect world sounds like so good, but at the same time, it sounds like it would also be a perfect prison. I don't think so. Not necessarily. You just want to leave enough room for things to happen. It's what the right wing apparatus you want. I don't listen to anybody who tells me that. I meet these people, Dimitri, just so you know. So I don't form my views ever on with something that I saw in the media. I know people like that are saying these things. For sure. I know I have friends because I live in like very close to Hollywood. There's a lot of people here. This is real. People that I know personally that speak like that and they're very, very, very adamant. That's the reality of things. If you're not aware of it, you are unaware of it, but that is the truth. I'm still on the left. I just think that the statement the left lost its mind in the last few years is correct. It is correct. As a whole, the messages that are coming that are like in the echo chambers of the left, they're very problematic. Um, if you can find it, read the whole CIA document about Gateway and HemiSync. You telling me or telling people? I've done all the Gateway tapes. They're pretty cool. While viewing is done with specific intent, you won't do it accidentally. Oh, you're talking to the other question, I think. Should I avoid trying that in a Vipassana retreat? You ever remember I have never successfully meditated, too much ego and wait, avoid doing what at a Vipassana retreat? Yeah, well, they're teaching you. It's not like they're telling you, here, go meditate. They're telling you what to do. But also, what do you mean by avoid trying that? Trying what? But that would imply another version for it to emulate. I'm not sure what this is about. Sorry, guys, you're gonna have to bring my special brain on board and explain to me what RVing means. Oh, remote viewing. Got it. Okay. Yeah, definitely don't try any superpowers. In fact, Sofa King, they asked you in the beginning to make a promise when you enter the meditation. You make a pledge. One of the pledges is that you're not trying any kind of superpowers or any other technique or anything that has anything to do with only the technique that you're learning, to give it a fair trial. So if you're going to be doing that, you're going to be going against your promise, which is not advisable because then you're lying and now your whole karma is like all skewed. All skewed. So it's not a good idea. Yeah, unfortunately, I have very little to say about remote viewing because I could never do it. What is this? Splenic projector. That sounds fancy. Yep. Spam. These spams will get you. Wait. So what did they say, and how long ago was it? I believe the universe is fine tuned. Yes. What's up, Rob? Yeah, they're not numbers. Anecdote is not evidence. Yeah, we can talk about statistics, but I don't really care about these topics that much, Dimitri. I was just trying to outline the fact that give you an example of where when I feel that people ask me about my ideological position, it would have to do more with the reality of the situation, the exact thing discussed, and what would be the outcome of it. Um, I really don't care about politics almost at all. Just so you know, I was just using this as an example. Also, um, I'm telling you again, I see the percentage, a sample rate from a percentage of people that you know is a data point. And I do see that there's this insistence on the left to kind of not be able to let go of certain notions that they had that are clearly wrong at this point. And that happens in more people on the left that I would like to admit that it actually happens to them. But if you want, we can talk statistics as well. It's just this topic is just kind of boring. It doesn't matter. Subbing. Going through some of the comments quickly. Wait, Owl, they accepted you and you just didn't see it because it was in your spam? Email them. Double check. Say that it was in your spam before you apply for a new one. Email them and ask them. Seek active design when it's shining, made of light. What's up, Daniel? Good to see you. You should think about starting decentralized science on blockchain. I know someone who is raising funds in this way to test ultrasound. Cool. Yeah, we're actually kind of already doing that. Survival biases. It's easy to say because most things that people say online, all of it is just bias, right? I assure you that if we run the statistics, the left would not look good. And I'm telling you this as a very independent thinker. Like, I don't care about any party. I don't identify with any of them. The left does not look good. At a certain point, you need to be able to change your mind. As it stands today, obviously. Wait, trying to understand. Good to see you too, brother. Oh, you didn't get accepted. It was the email saying, respond to this email, see you know you're still interested. Oh, man. I wanted to tell you, like, you should. Yeah, that's a thing that happens. I'm sorry, man. But still, I would still email them. Like, email, there's an email with the server, with the like info email, and you can email them and say, hey, I'm sorry, it was in my thing. I am still interested. Is there any way I can still be accepted? Sometimes it can work. Even if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So in meditation, you stop thinking, which means you are not making gravitational waves. You never stop thinking, Sean, just so you know. In meditation, there's no meditation ever aiming at stop thinking. You learn how to disassociate from thoughts, and then they happen less rapidly. It's true. But at no point, no monk ever stopped thinking, because thinking is a natural process, just like everything else. So the point of meditation is not to stop thinking, but disassociation from thought and content in general. Hardware issue something to do with these antennas based on ability to compute. AI thing is pretty wild. There are multiple instances of this being scary, accurate. You can test it. Wait, I think I need to read some of the. Nico, thank you for the gifts. Okay, let me see what's happening here. Oh, Brian's coming on. How you doing, brother? How you doing, my man?
Yo, I was going to say hi to my special friend. But she caught me while I was eating a grape.
Welcome, brother. Oh, Carter wants to connect. Wait, who was it? Let's see. So Carter here, who is I call him a unicorn. He is an incredible human in general, but also a very, very technically savvy one. And he's the one that is actually kind of known in the crypto world. So whomever made the comment about crypto, if you can put a comment again on the bottom, and actually if you can email me to, for this one, if you can email me to dangoprox, dangoprox@gmail.com for these kind of topics, and I'll connect you with Carter to discuss what you had to say about crypto, because we are interested in all of that stuff. There you go. So if you were the one who made the comment about crypto, there's a lot of comments, so I can't really. I mean, I can try and find it, but it would be easier if you could just put the comment down below or email me directly. Oh, here you are, CBRO. You can either put the email again, CBRO. If you can just email me to the email on the screen. Awesome. So will you email me, please, to dangoprox@gmail.com? Appreciate you. How's your evening going, Brian?
It's going great. Yeah, so two things. One, I did the now I can't remember the name. Maybe it's affecting me adversely. The methyl.
Oh, methylene blue. Okay.
And I did it while so the sun was hitting me.
While the what? While the what?
Like in the sun. I was in the sun.
Okay. Well, how much did you take?
I couldn't find the one that you showed, because the only one I could find that was similar to that was it took almost a month to ship. So
Yeah.
I got the one that had the dropper, and I took 7 drops of that.
Oh, it's like a liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about these, to be honest with you. But okay, so what happened?
It's the same liquid that the guy in the video you shared uses.
I know, but there's something about the liquid that just doesn't sit well with me for some reason. The tabs is the way to go. But okay, but what happened? What was the?
I started getting a tingling sensation on my chest, which generally I tend to get a lot of inflammation or acid reflux in that area. And I also generally tend to have some breathing issues.
So
that's what I'm thinking that would help with, but I don't know for sure yet.
No, it can happen absolutely, especially if you have, because it is an MAOI. So if you were not taking any other medications along the same time, right? Or supplements or anything like this.
I have an inhaler that I use, but I didn't need to use it. I used it twice today, which is by directly.
But do you know the dosage that you took that day?
Of the methylene blue?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I'll need to check.
Okay, so you can't. So just so you know, with this kind of stuff, you can't eyeball it.
Yeah.
It's very important that you know the exact amount. That's why I'm saying that these drop things, that's another reason why the drops is a little shifty, is because you don't really know how much you got in. If you use the one that is tabs, you know how much is in each one. If you cut it in half, you know exactly how much is in it. And that's very important. Yeah. I always say, never do anything above 20 milligrams a day, especially if you're you don't know it yet and you kind of want to see. And it's also why I always tell people it's very important that you consult your doctor, because there can be a lot of other conditions that you might have that it might not mix very well with. But if you do it the right amount and you don't mix it with anything else, there's all kinds of supplements you can't take with it, like B vitamins you can't be taking with it. You can do Allegra D for what is it for? Why am I spacing on such a basic word? Allergies. You can't do Dayquil. You can't do 5-HTP. There's a lot of things you can't do because it's an MAOI. So what you're describing sounds like it collided with something in the system that might have played with either the blood pressure or something like that. So that's a very important thing to pay attention. And again, yeah, I'm assuming you stopped, right? Just after it happened.
Yeah, I took 7 drops. It's definitely less than 10 milligrams.
Definitely less than 10?
Yeah, it's definitely
got it. Okay, that's already good. Yeah, so it might just not be for you, man. I mean, it's just but again, if you consult your doctor, he would be able to tell you exactly, because it is actually recommended by doctors for certain things. but you got to be super super careful, and you can't eyeball it. You can't be eyeballing this thing. Yeah, because for example, with 5-HTP, which is very innocuous, but 5-HTP you can just get in a pharmacy. It's just it helps with the serotonin uptake. But if you take like 2 or 3 5-HTPs with that, you might go into serotonin syndrome and get a heart attack. Like that's it's like serious. So you can be eyeballing it, and you can't be using anything else with it. So yeah, that's but again, if it makes you feel this way, if it's just less than 10, I would say don't try it again until if you're still interested to some degree, speak to a doctor, explain to him exactly, and also show him the product, and a doctor should advise you on this kind of stuff.
It didn't make me feel bad. I think I might have said it, or like said them together. I took it because I have like issues with breathing sometimes, and I'm hoping that the anti-inflammatory like effects would help with that.
But I would still consult the doctor. The doctor will not tell you don't take it. It would just consult. Like it would tell you like you might have prior opinions, but you want to start with the minimal dose. Don't mix anything with it, and it might be certain foods even. So usually foods are okay because it's a very mild MAOI. It's not like a strong MAOI, but like with strong MAOIs, you got to watch what you eat. Like you can't even eat preserved foods or smoked salmon, things like this, because that can actually do the same thing. It can shoot your blood pressure over the top. But with that one, it shouldn't do that because it's a mild MAOI. But if you are very sensitive to it, it might still do it. So your doctor knows the doctor knows what your condition is. So that's very important to consult the doctor. But yeah, it has a lot of promises. I have to say that it kind of works for me. I've been doing it for like 3 months now, and I definitely feel like cognitive boost, and also boost in general energy throughout the day. So yeah, but I'm glad you do okay. Just again, I would just get the I don't know why you couldn't find this one. That's the one I use. It's also the best bang for your buck. Like it's just the amount that you get for that price that you get. It's called this.
I don't want to look for that one. Where did you get it?
Oh, from? Just here. I'll search it right now. So blue. Again, everybody who are watching, this is not a commercial. I'm not sponsored by this. It's called mitozen.com. MITO. Can you write it down?
Yeah, I'm about to type it right now.
MITOZEN.com. And if you shoot me an email, I'll just email it to you, like the link and everything.
Okay, I'm on it right now. Okay, awesome.
And write down my email just in case. It's dangoprox@gmail.com for this kind of stuff. dangoprox. Again, this is not an advertisement. I'm not promoting this stuff. I'm just telling you that it kind of works for me. Consult your doctor. Make sure you read about it. Do your research. But it's a good thing to know. It works.
Yeah. I need to email you about the membership as well.
Oh, amazing.
I completely forgot about that.
Oh, you remember on YouTube? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, stick around. A lot of influence. Let's see. Trump. Okay, I think we saw these comments. What if the simulation is designed to develop our souls? I think it's about it is. Is the right insane? Wait, what? Yes, we are in simulation. Da, 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 da. Wisdom. Yeah, somebody said it doesn't have fire.
Do you think the human design is worth buying the deeper level?
Yeah, it can be cool. I would look first deeper into it. Did you see the? Were you yesterday in the chat that we had the members chat?
Yeah.
So did you see the what I shared that podcast with Rick Rubin?
Oh, I did not watch it. No, I did the human design thing.
No, I know. So you
And
should
I
listen. You should listen to it. It will give you a
Okay.
really good context of what's available for free, and also it will give you like a good outline of like it will explain a lot of things of what is the logic behind it and the people that are behind it. I think it's a really good like introduction. It's also a very interesting conversation. It's very deep. You would enjoy it. It's a very deep conversation. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of wisdom in there. And after that, again, email me and I'll send you the link. And then after that, you decide if you want to buy what you want to buy and all that stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
1 second, guys. Give me 1 second.
Hey, Nico. What is remote viewing? What is that? Right. Thank you. consciousness dislocation. Right. Now I'm even more confused. How you dislocate consciousness?
Sorry about that. Cut my finger pretty bad today and it was bleeding. What was you saying?
I was just asking chat what remote viewing is, and Nico said it's consciousness dislocation, which got me even more confused. But Mr. Brighton said to check out Ryan proper, so I was just looking for that on YouTube.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, the dislocation. Yeah, I mean, I guess it is a projection of your consciousness to another place for sure.
Wouldn't that be like relocation?
I don't know, because obviously some consciousness is still in your body, right? Your body is still there. Also, Nico is asking if Rick Rubin is a legit. I mean, in what, like, what? I mean, he's responsible for mega hits, right? So why wouldn't he be legit in his field? Rick Rubin is a musician. So I mean, he doesn't have like scientific claims about neuroscience. He's a musician. Gateway process one way. What do you mean by that, Carter?
I think it's one way to remove you.
Gateway, well, you can do quite a few things with it. I tried it. It was interesting. It opened some channels, but I can't say I remote viewed anything. After
what
X,
exactly, like, are you looking at stuff remotely? Is that what it is?
You basically go
like
somewhere else without leaving your body.
You go to another location without leaving your body?
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what that is. That's what a remote viewing is. I think that's the definition of it.
Is it the same thing as astral projection?
I think astral projection, I'm not an expert, but it sounds to me like astral projection is like you go like astral, like you go out. Like you don't go somewhere on Earth, but like you go to like between the planes and stuff like that. Did you ever manage to do any of this, Carter? Like astral project or remote view or any of this stuff? And for that matter, is there anybody else here who managed to do any of these things? Also, the conversation I was talking about before that I do recommend is with Rick Rubin and the writer of the Gene Keys. The writer, Gene Keys. I was something Rod, but I always forget his first name. Richard Rod. There you go. Rick Rubin and Richard Rod. Great conversation. Really, really nice.
I typed in Rod and it was like Roddy Rich. Close enough.
Out of body experience. Okay. What does the other O stand for, Carter? In the OOB? don't. Wait. Don't citas. I don't know what that means. But cool handle. Out of body. Oh, got it.
Are you allowed to, like, you know how he said, like certain beings are not allowed to give out secret? Like,
no, nobody's allowed. You can't give in information between levels, from what I understand.
So does that mean that you personally, you can't share like stuff that you've
No, well, if we're on the same level, you can talk about whatever you want. It's in between the levels. Yeah, if you have access to extra information, it is not due to your own doing. So like, you're not allowed to communicate it between like to lower levels because you don't own that. You don't own the process by which you know that, right? I think if you figure it out by yourself, it's yours to do whatever you want with, including share that information. And most beings are not responsible for figuring something out. They just heard it from somebody else and they kind of know it, right? And also there's something about lack of effort to get somewhere that prevents you from being able to understand what it's actually like to be in the possession of the real knowledge. So it's like if you start getting into like spaces that are high spaces and you didn't do the work of understanding how to be there, then you won't survive in that space. Basically, I think
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why.
Because even with here, we get like clarity as we move. Like as we do stuff, we get more clarity.
Yeah, the more you understand, the easier you traverse the world. We hold a version of the world in our brain. This connects to the free energy theory where minimizing surprise is somehow fundamental to the observer effect. Maybe the observer is trying to reconcile that for sure. Really want to hear your, let's say, diagnosis of Ammon Hillman. I gave one already. Yeah, this guy's off the rockers. Just after this comes. If it's conscious and sentient and self-aware individual, I do know that it can tap into some quantum consciousness field, and I can telepathically communicate with repeated accuracy. I think I missed some context for this. Okay, this is all conversation in the chat. Dango Pro X email is for all stuff that had to do with immediate action. So, hey, do you want to start a business doing this? I have an event that I want you to attend. Things that are actionable now. That's what Dango Pro X email is for, Daniel. All other email about ideas, theories, the simulation, all that stuff, if it arrives at the Dango Pro X email, it's ignored automatically. I don't read those emails in that email. So for that, we have lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Let me swap it here. Code of reality. But if it's important and it needs attention this right now for something important, then that would be the better email. But let me put back the address here. Codeofreality.com, which includes the other email for all stuff simulation, basically. One diagnosis of him being evil for the sake of evil. Correct. And I believe that is true. Can you explain more about religion? You said Jesus is real. Does that mean everything else is wrong or fake? I don't really know. I do know that my bi-curious, my bi-curious body. Great to see you again. what a great zinger. It's really awesome. That's hilarious. Touche. That's really cool. Sauna space. 2025's convergence, indeed. Oh yeah, my ADHD is out of control. The Jesus thing is I don't have a way to know the deeper parts of it. All I can tell you is what I saw for sure. That Jesus exists, and that means that function is real for whatever it's worth, which means behave. That's what it means.
I think it also like aligns with the idea of love beyond family. I think like just historically, we've been like really our identity had a tendency to be tied to our family or our family name. But I think with Jesus is like loving your neighbor like yourself, like loving other people that are not necessarily in your bloodline, like how you would love and respect your family. That's how I understand it.
Right. Well, if I have to make, and this is something that, see, the question that Dasha is asking, so Judaism is wrong then. So I think that, and this is my guess, like I don't really know, but my guess would be that what it's designed to do is to maintain an ethical system across the system. As long as you need, forget even about Judaism. So like what, then Buddhists are wrong, right? They're good people, right? But because they don't believe in Jesus, they're gonna what? They're gonna be punished? I don't think so. I think what the message is, as long as you maintain an ethical framework, you will be given all the opportunities to understand what in fact matters when it matters, and then you can make your choice. And when it's undeniable for you, you can make the choice. But I think that the only people that will reject that way of trajectory, like no matter what, I guess you can call them evil, because it's like if everything was presented to you to show you that that is the case, right? Until the end, like that, you've been given every single opportunity. If that is the case, and you still maintain your position, well, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. You can't be trusted, right? So you can't have bad apples in the perfect ship, kind of thing, right? So I think that the system is completely safe. Just maintain an ethical framework. It doesn't matter what the exact belief is. The function of uh, somebody taking on board all your inabilities to live a pure state does make sense, because most beings are incapable of that. So, now what I also saw in the space is that the whole Jesus bit is part of a larger picture that is much larger than Christianity. So that is true as well. So Christianity is also incomplete. That's all I can say.
Not to even be like too stuck on religion, but I always question like, was Jesus a Christian? Because for me, it seems like Christianity came about. I think like there's a difference between religion and Jesus, or Christianity and Jesus. That's just what I think.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's somebody gifted me here. I didn't see that. Thank you so much. Programmist is San Francisco. A programmer from San Francisco in Russian. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate you. And the messages, can you tell more about the Mythol Blue? In general, what the heck is MB for total beginners? Wait, can you explain what is MB? I'm terrible with acronyms. What do you mean by MB?
Methylene blue.
Oh, Jesus. See, it was just right there. Like my brain can't connect these. It's so funny. This dyslexia is out of control. Okay, so it is a dye that was invented in the 1900s, and it was used for actually dyeing jeans and all kinds of clothes and things like this. And then people discovered that it can actually be utilized to help with all kinds of health stuff. So it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiparasitic, if I remember correctly, and it basically is going into the cell and allows your mitochondria to produce more energy, which is unheard of. Usually, all the energy stuff that you're doing, it's coming from the outside of the cell. That's why you kind of feel the jittery part in the body. But this kind of gives you the same feeling, kind of like the rejuvenation of your energies from childhood. Like when you were 15, 14, you kind of had this like natural oomph to you. And that's kind of like what it does. And it seems to be curing a lot of like really weird, uncurable things for people. There's actually like real papers on this by reputable hospitals and research institutes. So this is not like a new thing, apparently. They stopped using it when we invented antibiotics, and then now it kind of made a comeback. I heard about this from a few people, and with the stuff that people were saying about it, it just sounded like one of these like just too good to be true kind of thing. But then I met a few other people very like highly functioning people. And actually, after I met Chase Hughes, who's the guy that the neuroscientist and the behavioral expert, and he invited me, and I came, and we showed him the laser and all that stuff. He told me about it like even more, because he cured an seemingly uncurable brain disease with it. He had for 3 years he had temporal lobe seizures like 9 times a day. Each one lasted between 60 to 90 seconds. And in each of one of these 60 to 90 seconds, he experienced about 3 years of a separate life. So imagine living extra 3 years of separate lives 9 times a day for 3 years. He almost went mad. Like, I don't know how he didn't go mad, right? He didn't know what's real anymore. And there was no cure for this. And this is what cured him. It just made it go away. And when he told me about it, and he's a serious guy. He's like, no, this is like, I give it to my dog. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I cured my dog from like this weird rash on his skin. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm telling you, it's crazy. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'll try it. So then I tried it, and I've been doing it for 3 months now. And I have to say, it's true. Like you definitely feel a lot of the benefits that people talk about. There's this like very steady energy that is always with you, and there's no like weird, like, jittery stuff that comes with it. But it is an MAOI, which means that you have to be very careful with what you're taking it with. For example, the things that I've mentioned. If you do it with certain supplements like B complex, things like this, it can bring, or specifically with 5-HTP, for example, it can bring your blood pressure to a dangerous level. It can cause heart problems. And this is why talking to a doctor is super important, because the doctor would know what your exact situation is. And if you have any sensitivities or things that you might not work with what else you're taking, the doctor would know. I'm not a doctor. This is not an advertisement. I'm not being paid by anybody to say this. I'm just reporting that this kind of works for me. And a lot of people are talking about it. I would do serious research, read, and don't just open one Google search and say you research. No, like, read about it. Read some, go and open at least one paper. I think Johns Hopkins published about it. Even on Huberman, somebody was talking about it. So it got to the big ones. And there's a great potential there. There was this one case. I wish I remember what the condition was. I don't remember. But there was some like a guy was in a wheelchair, and literally the doctor just pumped him with a bunch of I can't say the word because they're gonna block us. But that, and it also is it being activated by light. So if you go to the sun and you expose yourself to the sun after you take it, you literally, like, it activates it more. It's photosynthetic, I guess. And then it's not photosynthesis. It's not the same mechanism, but you get the picture. Like, it kind of does that. And he put him in the sun, the guy in the wheelchair. He pumped him with a bunch of this, like way more than what you would take like at home, right? It just, like, if you would take 20 milligrams, I think he gave him, like, every day, he gave him like 500 milligrams, like something crazy, like half a gram, which is insane. And he gave him every day, and he put him in the sun every day. And within a week, the guy got out of the wheelchair. So it's like it's curing all these like weird, I guess, because it reoxygenates the cell, and it even combats some aging factors. So there's great potential in it. But again, be very careful with what you're taking it with. Maybe you're taking all kinds of, maybe what you're taking, you don't even think about it as a thing, like a B complex, it's just like, what? It's just a B vitamin. It might collide with it. So you have to read very carefully what you're taking and what you're not taking. I stopped taking everything else. I used to take L-carnitine. I used to take B complex. I used to take CoQ10. I stopped taking all of that stuff. I'm only taking this and drinking sometimes a little bit of coffee, and that's it. That's all I can say about it. But again, please, please, please do your research and consult your doctor. I am not one. Very important. Casey's in the house.
How's it going?
How are you?
Good. I'll probably put myself on mute to set up for an experiment, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also pull up some really interesting stuff that I've got going on with, I don't know if you remember the, in the members meeting when I brought up the code that I had from the, well, I successfully reconstructed it, and it has some wild connections to what's going on here. So
I can't wait. You know how skeptical I am of that, so I can't wait to learn about it.
I know, exactly. That was great. I'm going to mute up and set up. I'll be back.
it's people are always blown away by how resistant I am to all the stuff in this space. It's just because it's not that easy to make that progress. But if you make it, dude, I'll be the first one to go, wow.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I love it that you're like that.
Yeah.
Healthy, totally makes it solid. So I'll be back.
Awesome. Okay, let me get through some of the comments real quick because I've ignored the audience enough, I think. I was dancing with the little shadow people and I don't dance. Listen, Breezy Brown, that is a t-shirt. If that's not a t-shirt, I don't know what is. I was dancing with little shadow people and I don't dance. It's either that or it's some like epic song lyrics from the 70s. I know, unfortunately, I can't really repeat the words, guys, because TikTok is really weird about this kind of stuff. One time I was talking about it, one time in Bandcamp, I was talking about it, and they they marked us as dangerous or like, I don't know, something, but like can't even say a name of a product apparently. So unless it's sold directly on TikTok. Just do a blue supplement that people take. I bet you it will be the first thing to come up. Blue dye. Just do blue dye people take. All right. I'm glad that at least there's a conversation going, so I don't have to feel the pressure to answer every single one of these messages. Otherwise, it will be insane. Definitely not. What's up, Wendy? Yes, that. Oh, yeah, Dasha. That's what I was discussing exactly. Hey, Danny, have you read the book Max Tegmark Mathematical Universe? Yeah, I have actually. I have read that book, Dimitri. Fascinating book. Again, I think it's one of these cases where the very smart person who's been studying one thing his whole life starts confusing the definitional thing with the actual thing. I thought that by the end of the book, I would understand a little deeper as to what he means by the world is mathematical at bottom. I left. I love the book regardless, but I left, and I love that Max Tegmark, by the way. He's one of my favorite scientists. But let's say when I get to talk to him one day, I will tell him that I do think that he's a little confused. That's my take on that. Because his proposition is that he's not comfortable even in saying that mathematical relationships are the fundamental thing. No, mathematics, which is just a symbolic representation, that's why I think he's confused. And it is very common. People will study something their whole life. The intuition about that thing becomes so strong that to them it feels like, no, it's that. Of course, it can't be the thing that you can conjure in your own feeling, because the real thing encompasses that plus whatever gave rise to it. It's not a real thing that can ever be arrived at. But great book, really great book. And he is one of my favorites by far. Oh, posted all my army here. I'll able to reference good question, answer, and context. if you're talking about the email thing, if it's something that I can implement immediately as a tool and you can walk me through how to do it, something that is easy for me to execute and it doesn't require me to go on a whole roundabout of a research of how to do that, simply don't have the hours in the day for that, then yeah, you can send it to Dengo ProX. And yeah, программист из Сан-Франциско. Я надеюсь, что я тебе ответил. My Russian is so rusty. Methylene blue turns me into photosynthesizer. That's funny. Cure yawning. I don't think you can cure yawning. That'd be great though. What do you guys use for looking up research papers? You mean in general? I think I don't really use anything in particular. I just kind of search for it and then see if there's a. You mean how to read the ones behind the paywall? Oh man, I forgot. Somebody maybe can put it in the chat. Oh, okay, that's a thank you. Yeah, it is pretty good. Research app. Cool. Have you heard of a theory that influences the nervous system of the eye by sound could reveal the code too? Not sure that I'm fully following what that means. I guess I didn't cure yawning. See? You just told me about it and I started yawning. No. Why would it contradict the code? I think it's incorrect, by the way, Dimitri. But also, why would it contradict the code? Okay, this is all conversation. All right. So to all of you that don't know, why then it's incorrect? Maybe it's just one part of the bigger picture. Well, according to him, no. According to him, because basically what it does in the book, Meg Stegmark, Mathematical Universe, what he basically does in the book is it goes through the different types of multiverses, number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the last one is basically the all the possible spaces as they appear from the perspective of the wave function itself. And then he makes the lateral move, I would claim, that mathematics is that fabric. I was hoping that somewhere along the lines, along the journey in the book, he will describe how he makes the move from mathematics being a descriptive tool to the fabric itself, because the fabric itself cannot have a symbolic representation by definition, because the second it has a symbolic representation, it is not the full thing. The full thing will not have a symbolic representation. That's just definitional, right? He never provided that. That's the problem. So I'm comfortable in saying that the universe at bottom is Maybe I'm not supposed to think that. I'm comfortable in saying that the universe at bottom is mathematical relationships. That's palatable and it's coherent. But I've heard Max Tegmark in interviews about this idea, and his claim was no, he means mathematics. Okay? In that case, I say it's wrong. Well, forget about the fact that it's like my contention is that it has to be consciousness. Like it has to be. And Max Tegmark is not on board with that. So I think anybody who does not put consciousness somehow squarely in the beginning of everything always is doomed to fail, because you will at no point you will be able, by definition, to explain the arising of consciousness in the middle. So consciousness has to be fundamental. Like it's the most coherent explanation. It is everything as far as I'm concerned. If there's no, to me, if you have no idealism somewhere in the original part of your idea, it will always be wrong at the end, because it will not include the most fundamental thing you know about, which is your experience. Yeah. But I would love to talk to him about it. Again, he is by far one of the loveliest, smartest, fascinating scientists out there. I love his work. I love his personality. Max Tegmark is one of my favorites. So, just to be clear, like I love the guy. But it's an incoherent idea to my mind. But if luck will have it, I will get a chat with him at some point. That'll be fun. Also, there's this tendency, Dimitri, I haven't thought of this, but I think the big part of this is that when scientists get older, there's two things that happen. Well, many things happen, but one of the main things that happen that I think are relevant for this, what I'm trying to say. The first one is they spent so many years studying one thing that their intuition in that field are so strong that to them it just feels like a matter of fact. Just it's what it is, right? And they forget that that's just not how we do things in science. So they almost feel like they don't need to explain it anymore, and they're only doing lip service when they're trying to explain it. I think that's a trap. The second thing that happens is that they need, and I don't even think that it's kind of like one of these, like it's not a scheming kind of thing. It's more like they've been there, done that on such a level. Because think about this, at least with Max Tegmark, he interacted with theoretical physics his whole life. It is the most been there, done that for the mind that you can possibly imagine, because it's the hardest endeavor. Theoretical physics is by far the hardest subject, by far, because you need to be able to hold coherence without necessarily always being guided by experimentation. That's a very difficult thing to do, and you still have to stay on track. So you have to keep all these parameters and logic in place for so many decades. And then what happens is you've been there, done that so much that at a certain point your brain just goes, okay, where can we take this? Where can we push the boundary to now? Ooh, let's go to the ultimate conclusion. Let's just do that. And then they push it to this place where it doesn't need to be in. That's what I feel it happens. Yeah. It's, by the way, the same way that I feel about Tom Campbell, just so you guys know. He's so far out there that is like he somehow he comes back from the other side and with this weird, like very anthropocentric view that I don't even see how he, it's hilarious. I agree with him about basically everything, and yet I completely disagree with him that to his claim about his methodology being scientifically sound, it is not. And the fact that he explained consciousness, he did not. He asserted consciousness, he did that, but he definitely didn't explain it. There's zero explanatory power to his theory. It's all descriptive, which is not what science is supposed to be doing, at least on the level that, So I think it's kind of like he has very strong intuitions because he's very open about the fact that he's been doing it relatively easy from the beginning, And as we all know, usually the people who are always kind of something was easy for them to do, they're not good teachers in that field because they just knew how to do it. It's the same reason I can't really tell you why you can't see the code. I have no idea. I just saw it. I always saw it. So I don't know what it even means to not see it. I don't know, so I'm making a lot of guesses. And it needs to be explained for sure, but I'm a terrible teacher when it comes to that because I just don't know how. I never had to go through the steps of not knowing what is there. And I think it's kind of very similar to that he thinks that because these intuitions are very strongly ingrained in him, he kind of gets the answer and he thinks, well, can't you see? He tells people, right? But the people who can't see, he didn't actually create the bridge for them to see. He just kind of said the thing because it was clear to him that that's the case. But then he makes like really, really weirdly limited assertions. Like, for example, he thinks, and I was blown away by this on Joe Rogan when he said that he thinks that the universe basically is kind of like, is not really there. And it's just our Earth. That's it. That's in this simulation. Why would that be the case? Why would it be limited to Earth? What a weirdly limited thought. There's no need to be that limited, especially when you know that all these things are possible, right? And then how easily he kind of waves away some things that are clearly there, like UAPs, right? And he just kind of like, yeah, it's I don't know, it's a way of the system to help us wake up, something. Okay. Didn't explain anything. That seems to be like an arbitrary choice. So there's a lot of things that when it doesn't match with his theory, like new information comes in. I think again, he spent so much time on it, and also, he's tired. Like he's been doing it his whole life. He's been explaining it his whole life. It's like, okay, now he got more. Like obviously, his project is getting more attention. So now it's like, okay, I have to recapitulate it again, and now he has no more energy to fully recapitulate it in the proper way with the amount of zeal that it requires. And he doesn't feel like going through all the steps again. I get it. I totally get it. But it's the same case. Like there's zero explanatory power to his theory. Zero. Like it explains nothing because he postulates a thing at the beginning of it that is infinitely capable. The second that you say I have a magic wand that can do anything, you can't use that as an explanation for something because by definition you said it can do anything. So it explains nothing. In that case, why do we even bother with it? We're just like, well, anything is possible and let's just not worry about it. But if you're in the business of you're trying to explain the details, and even when he says that no, like I went through the steps and like, he explains that the that entropy, he came to the conclusion that the only thing that makes sense in the ultimate scheme of things is love being the expression of lowering entropy. I can think of 5 more right now that would equally make sense, and they don't have to be love. Now, is it love? Maybe. I don't know. I always say it's equanimity, but that's not even my point. My point is that if you're talking about science, and if you have one parameter that can be explained by 5 different things, and you said that to you this one thing makes the most sense, but you didn't provide any justification for it, you're not doing science, which is fine. However, he insists that he's doing science. So I'm taking his words according to his own claims. He keeps repeating, I'm a physicist, I'm a physicist, I'm a physicist, I'm a physicist. I have the technical knowledge. I'm doing the calculations. You're not. You're just asserting things. They don't actually fold into the same scientific rigor that we usually do things with. So it's same problem. Spent too much on it, and now there's like a blind spot of like not seeing that it actually doesn't explain anything. Gambili is saying that's a very human-centric way of thinking about the universe. I'm assuming you're saying this about what I said about Tom, but then he says you're doing the same thing. I don't think so. I'm actually doing the exact opposite of that. I'm saying that there are things that we can know, but they're part of a much larger thing that has nothing necessarily to do with us. So I'm actually saying the exact opposite of that. There's zero reason to believe that all there is what our consciousness is. So no, I wouldn't agree with that. I'm actually doing the exact opposite of that. I'm saying, no, there's definitely a lot more, and it's not us. And people, when they keep insisting, no, it's just like, what do you mean? Like it's all our consciousness? No. There's a lot more beyond that. Can you see the matrix with just a basic red laser pointer you find at a dollar store? No, because laser pointer will not work. It has to be diffracted. If it's diffracted, then yes.
Don't forget to like the live on YouTube, guys.
The what? The what?
Like the live on YouTube.
Oh yeah. If you guys want to like the live on YouTube, I would definitely appreciate that because it helps the algorithm. And again, it's funny because today I had this discussion with a friend of mine with Ben, and we had this conversation about Tom back and forth, and he got, I think he got a little bit defensive, even though I think he meant it like in a well-natured way. But it's like, all the stuff about Einstein, and you're not criticizing him with all the loopholes that were there. And I'm like, well, I have nothing against Tom. I think he's a lovely person, and again, and like I always say, he seems to be a very advanced one at that, much more advanced than I am, for sure. No question about that. In terms of like abilities and spiritual abilities and all that stuff, but I think it's exactly what causes the blind spot, is because there's a lot of steps that he kind of skips over. It's just not science. It's just not what it is, right? And there's a lot of arbitrary choices there, and unless he's willing to break down these choices, that's not science. That's all I'm saying. I think that, like I say, it's a hilarious position to be in, because I agree with him basically on almost every single thing. That it's a simulation, that it's being simulated for a reason. I just feel like he then, on top of that, adds arbitrary limitations that the simulation does not need to have. Like, Earth is all there is in the simulation. Why? That's a weird choice. Why simulate anything then? Why simulate the outer space? Why not just make it all black outside? If it would never exist, nobody would ever notice. It would just be pitch black. Nobody would ever know any better, and they would just live their life and focus here. If the simulation only wanted us to focus on this, what's here right now, it would never simulate anything outside to draw our attention out. And then, so it's like, it's these arbitrary, weird choices of limitations and like personal choices of like putting it just for the sake of it, that kind of makes it weird in terms of why add that. Just say, hey, it's now what I'm seeing, and I'm kind of circumventing it because I'm seeing it, like I'm experiencing it just like he's experiencing it. I've seen it myself, that it's being simulated by a more advanced civilization. Through it, you can say, yes, there's like the ultimately consciousness itself is simulating it through all of these civilizations. I would agree with that. It makes sense. But then why give it all these extra arbitrary limitations? There's no need for that. That's already kind of like an added thing that doesn't need to be there. That's all I'm saying. Rendering would be the speed of light. I'm pretty sure about that. And I think Tom would agree with that as well. Ebony is saying, my PC froze. Are we talking about Michio Kaku? It's funny because he was on my mind when I was talking about it. For the people, when they get older, they get into the wilder. No, it was about Max Tegmark, but Michio Kaku definitely falls into that category. That he kind of took it to a wild place towards the end of his career. I think the other guy said, you are same convinced as Max Tegmark is hypothesis. Well, the thing is that I have experimental proof, right? But also, I'm not expecting anybody to accept what I'm saying unless they experience it for themselves. The code is one way to probing into it, which we're working on, and it's going to take a while before we substantiate it. But it is different than postulating the most out there idea without any, there's no way of actually probing into it. You're going to need, there's just no way of probing into it at the moment of what the Max Tegmark is saying. So in that sense, it's not the same, because the only two things I'm claiming to know for sure is that the code is real. In other words, it exists, like the wall exists. Even when you're not looking at it, it's there. It's like a real thing that is happening, and that the beings that are talking to us in the molecule space are real. That's the only two things I'm saying that I know with absolute certainty. What are the actual implications of this whole thing? What are their goals? Like, what is the code actually doing? If it's even a code, all of this stuff, this is all postulations. And I think it's pretty obvious. But these two things I know. And there are things you can know, right? But these things are here. This is not like a thing, I talk about I'm talking about a lot of wild things, and I'm saying all these like, big ideas. I'm like, but I'm not saying I know this with 100% certainty. I'm giving you my take on what I think that makes sense. And I would never, ever, ever expect anyone to just take my word for it. That would never be like, it's just it's not in my imprint.
Yeah. Danny, when you're in the molecule space, is your body there as well, or is it your consciousness?
Depending how far in the space you are. So there's certain things where I feel with my body as well, and other things just with consciousness.
I see.
Earth is being holographic projection. Right, but that projection contains an experience of realness, and that is important. To say that it's an illusion is the most incoherent thing you can say, because it is happening to someone sometime. Right now, again, it's the best example I can think of because it drives the point home very easily. If you walk around and you stub your toe really bad, right, it really hurts. That's real. Talking about it not being real is not helping your pain. It's real. That's what I mean. Like, to say it's all holographic, in theory, yes, we can describe it in that way, but it gives rise to what you experience as real, which, for all intents and purposes, the only thing you know that is real. Exactly. Holographic, but not an illusion. Great way of framing it, Cool Breeze.
Hi.
And Casey's back from hyperspace.
No, I'm there.
Oh, nice. To everybody who doesn't know, Casey runs Experiment Live. So right now, Casey is on the spirit molecule, reporting to us from hyperspace.
Yes, and okay, so what I have set up, excuse me, is a tracing paper as a surface, right? And then I have a one of those, like if you're working on your computer, a magnetic tray surface to hold your little computer screws. If that makes sense. I am unable to get anything out of the magnetic field, but what is interesting to me is that I am seeing the code in this very thin tracing paper.
So you're seeing it even with the magnet there?
No, magnet, I can't get anything to come through. Excuse me.
Yeah, in the tracing. Well, that's good, because we can use the very thin tracing paper to actually test the thing. And the way we can go about it also, we can also have a dummy magnet. We can have a not real magnet, and we can put it against the paper and see if we still see the same effect.
So I have it set up so there's tracing paper, like a, oh God, I'll have to send you a quick picture, whatever. But it's say the laser is the laser pointer that we use, the diffractive laser. I have it set up so I can have it projecting on the just tracing paper with nothing in the background, and then also the magnetic surface, right? What I find fascinating is that I'm seeing the code in the tracing paper.
Why is that weird?
It's just because it's so thin. I mean,
but it's matter. That was exactly my point, that you would always see it on a paper, and that's why if the magnet is there behind it,
Okay.
Yeah, no, but it's not surprising to me at all. It's a piece of matter, so you're gonna have enough light coming back from it to your eye to create a coherent picture. That's exactly what I'm saying. The code is in every point in space. You need, in order to see it, you need to bounce back some light back from a surface, which was what paper or wall provides. That's exactly my point. That's why it looks, you know how the code kind of looks like it hovers in this subspace? Like it's there, but it's like not really in the surface even. It's almost like it's in this like weird in-between space. But the surface allows you to receive the information back from the light, essentially. What's up, Mikhail? Does that make sense or?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Sure.
For obvious reasons.
Reality being an entropy reduction machine, the entropy believes similar. Yeah. So yeah, JS, thank you for the comment from X, but I think I made myself clear on Tom. Wolfram, somebody mentioned Wolfram, I think is the most on the money possible. The code doesn't mean other assumptions necessarily. I agree. I'm just collecting other data points, and eventually we will see if it will be substantiated. And Michio Kaku is a legend. He's hilarious.
From your perspective, is the code in like the light, and then
No,
we're seeing it?
absolutely not. Definitely not in the light, because it's not moving when you're moving the light.
Okay.
There are codes in the light for sure, but there are different codes. What you see when we do the experiment, you see what is bouncing off of the surface, which is you basically see what is in the fabric of space-time itself. YouTube was talking about the Kardashev scale. Just found him. Yeah, well, Kardashev scale. Yeah, it's haven't watched it, but just found elastic. Go ahead, brother.
What's that?
Oh, I thought somebody said something.
Oh no, I'm just looking at it now, and unable to get any reading on the magnetic surface. But
it's amazing.
Plenty of reading on the tracing paper.
You should. Did Aaron talk to you already? By the way.
Not yet.
Okay. Also, you should bring all your magnets. I'm gonna have a bunch, but you should definitely bring your magnets.
Okay, cool.
Code should be in the air. Yes. It's in every point in space. Do you think ancients were able to see the code like Mayan, Egyptians, etc.? I don't know. I'm very skeptical of that, but it's very possible. I guess I'm just agnostic on that point. Is there any illustration you guys have made that can see what the code looks like? If you join the Discord, Frankie, you should. We have a few examples there. Some of them, our beloved Ebony creator herself. Been observed before. Who started observing and what did they observe? Did they create everything the way it is? And all the conscious beings that look after that point will see what the first observed created. No, there's many layers above them. That's the short answer. All right. So I think I will actually have to adjourn because we are approaching 11:20, and I wanted to. Oi, Andreas. Just got before Casey comes back with a little bit more reporting. In the meanwhile, I will do a little bit of just reminders. If you guys want to follow me across platforms, it will be Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram. It will be Goller Danny on X. It will be LaserX83 on Twitch, which I highly encourage you to do so we can grow the Twitch channel, LaserX83, and YouTube, which is Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts. YouTube also includes my membership program, which includes early access to all my content, weekly membership lives, aside from the daily lives that we had one yesterday, and it includes Zoom calls with me as well, depending on the tier, but you can see before you sign up. And also includes a lot of stuff in my personal life that I'm about to start posting, probably tomorrow, actually, that will only live on my YouTube members live, on my YouTube members membership, all of that. And I'm working on more things to bring to the membership program, so YouTube will contain that. Deeply appreciate all the members that already joined and all the people that are gifting memberships once in a while, or quite a bit actually. Ebony, Ben, and Chris, and all the people that are helping with our Discord channel. Join our Discord channel. Go to YouTube, find our Discord channel, join that. We have a beautiful growing community there, a lot of exchange of fun ideas. And what else? Oh, and we're still working on a movie. We got a really good investment recently in the film, but we still haven't arrived at our ultimate goal. So if you feel inclined and you have the capability, please go donate to the film, either by following the link tree in the description of TikTok, or you can watch the trailer on Dan Go Thoughts on YouTube, and in the description you have our GoFundMe page. I think that's all the housekeeping I need to do. If you want to follow our beautiful guests, Casey's handle is CAW_AHA. Once again, CAW_AHA. And Brian, whose handle is the Naira Fams. Oh, the Naira Fam. One word. The Naira NAIRA Fam. Amazing. Casey, you trying to say something?
Well, I was going to bring it up, but so the harmonic thing that we've been talking about, the sound.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll save it for another time because it's a lot. But
okay. Well, I can't wait to talk about it, and we also can't talk about it. Also, put it in the film. Thank you guys, everybody, so much for. Oh, and of course, if you want to know more about the project, go to codeofreality.com, codeofreality.com to get more information. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. I'm gonna call it a night for tonight. Thank you so much for joining. Peace and love to everyone. See you tomorrow. Ciao.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, Brian. See you guys. Have a good night. And what else we got here? Dara Akasha saying timeline jumping is mainly subconscious for me, driven by a higher self, but I want to do it intentionally as the human. I mean, that would be the aim. So we can actually talk about that more tomorrow. Still live in the material world, uses money. Exactly. All right, guys. Have a good night. Peace and love. Ciao. See you tomorrow.